Hello, welcome back to episode number 2 of the No Excuses podcast. My name is Anne and I live in Worcestershire in the middle of England with my husband and our Staffordshire Bull Terrier called Bertie. Let's start out podcast number 2 with a big thank you. I am absolutely gobsmacked, overwhelmed, whatever word you want to use, with the response that I had, such a positive response to my first podcast. And I was thinking, maybe 20 people would watch. But it's been far more than that. And I can't believe, that that it's had, as I say, such a positive response it had. I've had lovely comments, I've had lots of subscribers, and I've had lots of views and likes. Honestly, I'm just, it was far, far more than I could ever have hoped to have achieved in podcast number 1. So I'm really glad I did it. And now I'm back to talk to you again. I'm trying to look at the camera. I don't know if it's going to make a big difference. And I'm a bit further back this time. But I can't go too far away from the camera because then I can't reach it to do, if it falls off its stand or anything, I can't reach it to get hold of it. So, yeah, well, I've plenty to talk about today. I've got some mending, I've got some knitting, I don't know if I've got anything that's actually properly finished to show you, apart from what I'm wearing. And I'm going to show you some reasonably recent acquisitions and talk about my plans for the sort of future in my crafting. Again, I'll try and keep it to about 30 minutes. It might go a little bit over because I do have a tendency to waffle or go off at a tangent, whichever way you want to look at it or call it. So I will try and keep my head down. If I go like that, you can't see my eyes, but I think I'm slightly higher this time, and I'm hoping that I don't talk too fast so that you can understand me. Let's go, shall we? Right. Let's talk about what I'm wearing. This is my love note, and as you can see, it is lovely. I'm really pleased with it. I can't show you the bottom of it, but I will put some photographs in of the finished jumper. It's got 3/4 balloon sleeves. You can't really see that, but I think I should have made them a little bit longer because they're moving up my arms. Maybe I should have put rib at the bottom instead of just I did an Icelandic cast off on them. So I don't know really, because I think a rib would have ruined the effect unless it was only just a couple of rows, and then that wouldn't have kept them in place anyway. I'd like to make another one because it was so quick to do. I did it on a needle size smaller than the pattern calls for, and I meant to look that up before I started talking. But yeah, I will make another one. It's a slightly smaller thing, so slightly tighter gauge, but I do knit loose. And I've put on a pale pink t-shirt so that the pattern shows up better on there. It's quick knit, and it only weighs something like 282 grams. That doesn't make sense. My jumpers usually weigh half a kilo. So, if anybody goes to Weight Watchers and you get weighed every week, this is a jumper to wear. Doubt, not that I do that anymore, but, this is, I'm impressed. It's lovely. It's a quick knit. It's an easy lace pattern. You can knit it as long as or short as you want, obviously. And yeah, I did, as I said before, I did 6 short rows at the back of the neck, and I also changed the number of stitches, and I will update my Ravelry project page this week to reflect that, along with some photographs. I just want to explain a couple of things to you before I carry on, and because it impacts on what I do and what I make and why I make it, and the crafting I do, and the amount of time I can spend crafting, etc. This big chair behind me looks like an office chair, but it isn't. It's a wheelchair. I am permanently one now. I will talk more about my disability in the future if people are interested, but I wanted to explain that, you know, I won't be doing any twirls a la Anthea Redfern. That's an old reference, some of you might get it. And you won't find many full body shots of me, because the jumpers don't necessarily look as good, you know, when somebody sat down as they do standing up. So it impacts in that way. It means I have to wear things that are hubbies in the garden trying to distract me, that are easy to put on and off, because I have to have help getting dressed most days. I like to have a certain style, you know. I still want to look as good as I can sat in a wheelchair. And also, like I said last time, my mum makes all of my trousers, and I live in trousers mainly. I've got a couple of dresses, but then COVID happened, so I haven't had a chance to wear them. But it also means that you know, I can't reach stuff, and I can't reach up in the air, and that means I don't take very good photographs because I'm only about 4 foot off the ground, and my perspective is I'm going to wave to the dog because he's just come to the patio windows that's by my feet. So much for podcasting, eh? I'm a true professional already. Yes, I am. But yeah, so little things that impact that. If I don't, I just want to explain them so that you know that there's some things I'm not going to do as well as other people. As I say, you know, I can only lift my arms that high, and my wrists only literally rotate that much. That makes me look like I've got really big hands, doesn't it? Perspective and all. Yeah, so I thought I'd tell you that, and yeah, it explains a couple of things. I'm getting full of gobbledygook now, aren't I? I'm not very good at taking photographs anyway, so that's why my Ravelry could look a lot better with the shots of my clothing. I could get hubby to do it, but yeah, I like to do things myself. I'm independent. I like to do as much as I can when I can. And before I spoke to you, I was having to think about how much to tell you and things, because you don't want a plotted history of, you know, how it's affected my life all the way through the years. I used to walk indoors when I was younger, but of course the nature of my condition means that your joints don't form properly when you're in the womb, when you're developing in the womb. And so I thought, do I have any joints that actually are not aren't affected? And I say this with a smile on my face. I think it's only my fingers, maybe my neck, although my neck hurts when I move it these days. But yeah, only my fingers. Isn't that weird? And it's taken me till now to realise that. Anyway, this isn't a woe is me. I'm not that sort of person at all. I'm a very much a glass half full person, and we'll just get on with it. So there you are. As I say, I'm happy to answer any questions. And, you know, whether you have got disabilities and you craft and how it impacts on you, I'd love to hear from you if you want to chat about it. I think it's not something that gets mentioned very much, and I'm quite an open person. I probably talk too much about things, if anything. So yeah, there we go. So this comfy wheelchair also tilts in space, which is nice. So it means I can lay back in the summer and sit in the garden and have a relaxing almost kip. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get on with what I've been making. So I've finished my love note, and I will just show some full-length photographs. And then what I'm going to do, right, is go back in time, right to the beginning of the podcast. I'll pretend, you know, it's one of them wavy screens. I should introduce myself, shouldn't I? She says with a high-pitched voice. I said, my name is Anne, but you can find me as Sparnits, Spaknits, on Ravelry and Instagram. Yeah, I'll put all the links down below of everything I talk about here, including what my love notes made out of and everything, which I covered last time. But obviously I've moved off the love note now, and I can't possibly go backwards in time and talk about that again. So yeah, we'll move forward, shall we? And forget that, you know, just remember, this is only number 2. I'll get better. So I had plans this year to make a number of things for my friends who are 60. They're in the same school year as me, and I was 60 3 months ago, and it's the only age I haven't wanted to be. It just sounds so, not the word old, it just sounds so, I don't know. I mean, when I was young, women retired at 60 in Britain and men at 65, and I've got to now wait until I'm 67 for my state pension, which luckily I qualify for because I worked, you know, over the number of times, so I qualify for a full state pension. But yeah, and I just didn't want to be 60. Any other age hasn't bothered me. But unfortunately, you can't stop time. It would be a bit of a problem, I suppose, if you could. But so I decided to make my friends who are also 60 in this near to me a gift of knitting as part of the gift package I was going to put together for them. And the first one was a shawl, and I will put some photographs in to show you. It was from my friend Elaine, who was 60 a couple of weeks ago. And the next one is for my friend Liz. Now, she better not be watching this, which is a horrible thing to say, isn't it, to a potential viewer. You better not be watching this, Liz, because, and if you are, you can go away now and go make yourself a drink or something. Come back in 5 minutes, because I'm going to show you what I've made her. Now, it's still got the ends hanging out, because I meant to do that yesterday, and it needs blocking. But this is the Sheila, or yeah, I think it's Sheila rather than Sheila. Sheila shawl. It's on Ravelry, and I'll forget who it's by. I will put all the links down below. And basically, it's a very nice, almost reversible garter, mainly garter shawl. It's a triangle, but I've added a bit to it. Would help if I had it the right way around. This is a lovely eyelet pattern that's done in the lighter colour. And then I wanted to make up, use as much of my yarn as possible on both balls, both 100 gram balls of 100% superwash merino. So I added that pattern on to the bottom before doing the edge stitch. So I completely changed it from there down. I completely changed the sequence of stripes and what I wanted to do, because as I say, I wanted to use up as much of the yarn as possible. And I'm gabbling, I'll try and slow down. The yarn, as I say, it's gorgeously soft. It's a 4-ply, and the dark purple, which has got all sorts of lovely colours in it, is Death Metal by Noodle Soup Yarns. And you can see how much prep I've done for this, can't you? And the grey with the picking the colours out of the dark colour is Gardener's Cottage by Kaz of the Wee Sew and Sew podcast. Put your head down, Anne. And that is in the berry picking colourway, which was part of her shawl kit for the braided shawl that she did sort of, I think it was November time. And I bought that kit of 3, it was grey and 2 of these. I bought that kit for my friend's shawl. But then when I had it, I realised that I'd given her a grey shawl before, albeit darker grey and lime green. And I thought, I don't want to do another grey shawl. This has still got bits of grey in it. So handily, I've now got a gorgeous pale grey shawl, skein of wool, and another one of these to knit myself something out of, possibly a shawl. Now, so I'm just going to follow that. I'm going to try and get it blocked in the next 2 weeks. And I think, because it's already quite big, I'm not going to block it aggressively, because I think I'm just going to hang it on the line, wash it properly, hang it on the line, weight it down perhaps a little bit so it goes longer rather than deeper, and I think that will be quite useful to her. So I'm hoping she likes that. So my plans then were to finish a love note, knit that shawl, and do the City Limits shawl, which I showed you last time, and I'll show you my progress on that in a minute. And then I knitted my husband a jumper over 12 years ago. It was before we moved into where we live now, and he never wore it. He said it was too big, it was too chunky. It was made out of chunky, to be fair to him. And I got a yarn from eBay, I think. It was like somebody was selling it, and it was a big pack of a lovely dark green Rowan chunky tweed. So I priced up to do one in a cascade yarn. It was the cheapest I could find that was chunky, but it was still wool, because I prefer to knit in wool where I can, as long as it wasn't going to be too scratchy for him, because he's got quite sensitive skin. And when I told him how much it would cost, he decided he wasn't worth that amount of money. He would feel guilty about, wearing something that was about £100. I, on the other hand, had no such qualms. I don't think I've actually got to £100 yet for a sweater, but, it's not far off some days, is it, ladies and gents, when you add the cost of the yarn up. But I'm not moaning. So we had a look on Lovecrafts, because they'd given me 20% off. I placed an order with them, hadn't placed another order. I don't use them very often. And they'd said, here's 20% off. Oh, by the way, a reminder, it ends at the end of January. So I got on their website, and I had a look around at the chunky. And basically, I was looking for something acrylic with a little bit of wool in, preferably. And before I show you what I bought, I need to warn Ginny. Ginny, I'm going to put some grey yarn up on the screen now. And I know it's not your favourite, so you might want to shut your eyes. So I bought this. This is quite nice, isn't it? It's coming up slightly lighter because I'm by the window. And it is, I'm hoping this is going to turn to be the right way around. It looks backwards to me at the moment, but we'll see. Anyway, it's Chunky Tweed by King Cole in the egg colourway, EIGG. And it is 100 grams, and you get 138 metres. So you soon knit up a ball of it, I'll tell you. It's 72% premium acrylic, 25% wool, and it's 3% viscose. And I'm thinking the viscose is the nuts in it. And I'm taking a lot of those out, actually. If they sit on the top, I'm taking them out. Because when it came, we said, I didn't think it was that bright. And although he's quite happy to wear things like pink and stuff, it wasn't that, I think. And I said, well, they'll sink into the yarn a bit, as you wear it, I think. So, but I'm taking some of them out. So this is, I've done the back, and I'm now working on the front, and I'm doing a cable pattern on the front. But he wants kangaroo pockets in it. So I've knitted a liner for the back, which I've sort of roughly pinned to the thing. And I'm now working my way up the front, so that at some point I can join the pocket to the main body, and then I'm going to put an I-cord edge. Sorry, I'm putting. The trouble with being further away is because I wear varifocals, my distance is up there, so everything looks blurred. So I'm like this, so I can see what I'm doing. So I can put an I-cord edge along there, along the side of the pocket. I did think about doing them sloping, but my brain decided it had enough of doing complex alterations. Not complex, but it's something I have to think about. And I don't like to think these days, not very much anyway. In fact, knitting's about as complicated as my life gets. So I'm knitting that, and it's knitting up really fast. I think I did the back in 3 days. And the pattern I'm using is this. It's old. I don't know what year it is. Does it say? No. And it's a Serdar. And it was made out of Cossack Chunky. And I did look it up, but I don't know what the context. Now, the original has got it's like a 4x2 rib on it, and that's what his other jumper is. So I didn't want to make him the same. And he also wants a neck rider, and he wants it folded over so it's nice and soft on his neck. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I can do all that. That's okay. Better that I'm told at the beginning, isn't it? Than I'm told when I've sewed it all up and go, oh, well, I wanted this and I wanted that. So no, I'm quite happy to do all that. So that should be finished next time we talk in a fortnight, and I should be able to show you the finished item. So I'm knitting on that. I do find that I don't really like knitting chunky because it's a bit heavy on the hands, you know. I'm an English flicker. I don't take my hands off the needles. I'm not, that's a thrower, isn't it, I think. And so having chunky yarn is just a bit of a strain on the old Donnies. And then I showed you the yarn for the City Limits jumper last time. And if you'd seen on Instagram, that I started it and ended up with a Mobius, whatever it's called. I twisted it basically, and I'd got up about 3 inches before I realised. I've never done that before. You know, never done that before. And so I undid it all the way back down to the, I think I just undid it. I couldn't be bothered to try and mess with cast-ons and things. So I started again. So this is my, I'm down now, I'm on the main body. So this is my City Limits jumper. That's the top, and the top is, this is at the moment Rusty Ferret yarn at the top, and it's Brood for Girders. Blowing out a little bit again, keep your head down. Brood for Girders and Marmalade. And then I changed colours and I ran out of Brood for Girders and I started using Burnt Sugar, which is this gorgeously gorgeous yarn. And then when I ran out of Marmalade, what did I run out? No, I ran out of Marmalade first, and then I'm now using it's Coop Yeah, and because I'm a very professional podcaster, I can't remember what the colourway is, so I'll put that down below. This is something I bought to go into another City Limits jumper and I didn't use it up. So this is Coop Yeah in a sort of soft brown colour really, and it goes fairly well with the burnt sugar, but really I'd like 2 lots of burnt sugar together because it's such a gorgeous colour. Anyway, so that's the progress on that. I've got the sleeves on cables and I'm knitting it, I don't know, I'm about 1 inch past the beginning of the body under the arms. I've put a rib pattern under the arms. You don't have that in the pattern, but I'll just put it in there. And it's quite nice, you know, the raglan show up nicely. And it is a far more orangey in real life than it is on the screen. But I'm happy. That's my evening knitting now. Now I'm only going round and round and round, which I really don't like because I find it quite boring. I'd rather have a cable or a lace pattern really in my knitting most of the time. So that, I don't know if that'll be finished next time I see you, because I've got other things to do. But there's a gorgeous smell just wafted by, and it's apple crumble. We were given a load of apples that my mum found free in the countryside. I live quite near to the Vale of Evesham. There's a lot of fruit trees around here. And one day in the autumn, we sat in the kitchen and peeled and froze sort of 5 kilograms of apples. And I'd forgotten all about them. So I said to hubby, why don't we have a crumble? Because obviously it's part of my diet, isn't it? Yeah, well. So when I ordered, let's get back to the crafting, shall we? When I ordered this yarn, I wanted to get up to £25, which I did easily because it cost 50 odd quid. But I started at the end because I started with a few knickknacks and I wanted to get some floss or some embroidery cotton for my cross stitch that I want to start again. So I was looking at those and I bought these. They're all DMCs. I won't get them out of the thing because they won't mean anything to us until we look at my cross stitch. And I also bought some Ada with a grid on it because I'm new to cross stitch. It's a 14 count, which is the same as the cushion cover I've started. I mentioned it briefly yesterday. It is a cushion cover, but I'm probably going to put it in a frame last time. It's a Celtic cross. It's a circle with a cross. It's got Celtic type swirls in it in different colours. And it says use 3 strands. And I'm finding that, I think that looks a bit bulky myself, even though I'm no expert at all on cross stitch. And I've decided that I'm just going to start again. I've done a tiny patch. It took me hours in the summer. And part of my birthday present, I bought a table stand for embroidery and cross stitch. So I can't really do it in hand. And if I hold a hoop for any length of time, then my hands ache. So I'd like to be able to do it a little bit more, especially in the summer when the light's good and I can sit outside and do it. So I'm going to get that out, and next time I'll show you, or I'll take some photographs before I unpick it, and hopefully if I haven't scribbled all over the pattern, what's it called, chart is the word I'm looking for, then I can start again. And I was quite pleased, you know. I mean, I bought some variegated as well in what I thought might be a nice colour to blend in with. So I bought that from Little Crafts, along with some needles and a few bits and pieces. I like to collect stuff to put towards sending gifts or what will hopefully be giveaways in the podcast. And when I get up to 100 subscribers, which I haven't got many to go, then I will be doing a giveaway. So maybe next time, we'll see. And then I bought some paint box cotton, but I've put that away, so I can't show you that this time. But I will show you, before we go, some yarn that I've bought right at the end of last year before I put myself on my self-imposed diet. And I have seen the Fibre Fox at various shows. And I've always liked her yarn. Colour aesthetic, and I bought this, which is the Shire Fade 20 gram minis. I think it's superwash merino nylon basic sock. Don't know what I'm going to do with it. I bought it because green's my favourite colour. I love it, especially autumn tones. And I was talking to Lizzie from Lizzie Knits and Stitches, if that's the right name. Because she put a mustard dress up yesterday on Instagram and said she loved it, but she didn't know whether the colour suited her. And I said, well, I know I can wear most autumn colours because I'm a warm colour person. And I did wonder about this because it's a bit on the cooler side, but hopefully I've got away with it. And she was saying, yeah, she thought she had a cooler skin tone. So, you know, these colours might make her look a bit washed out, but they should make me look gorgeous. Or whatever. And then, well, of course I couldn't just buy that, could I? I think the Fibre Fox, I think she had some sort of offer on. Might have been 20% off. Got to be an offer. Yeah. And I bought this, which is, she was knitting on it. This is her 4 skein. No, I can't hold them all. 4 skein rose gold gradient. So that way. So there you go. Aren't they beautiful? They're looking far more pink on the screen. They are actually, they've got more peach tones in them and rose gold, as it says. They've got gorgeous speckles in them, variegation, deep colours, that chestnutty colour. It's like a dull chestnut, like it's quite shiny, but beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And I'd like suggestions what to make with it, because I can't make a jumper because they are singles. So, and that would not work with me, with my short arms and lack of reach, and the big boobs won't work at all. I'd put a hole in it. We'll talk about mending in a minute. I've forgotten about the mending. So any suggestions? I don't know whether to do like a big shawl to wrap around me, because I got attracted to this colour because she knitting a shawl on her own Instagram. And I thought, I want some of that. So I went and got it. The trouble is, you see, it's like going on a food diet. You know it's going to start on Monday. You're going to stuff yourself all weekend. Well, that's what a lot of people do. So I went a bit mad. Thing to show you that I've bought recently after Christmas is because my friend, I'm knitting her a boxy for her birthday, which is in April. So I was looking for, I've got another colour which I can't lay my hands on at the moment, but I was looking for something to go with it, and I think it might take about 3 to 4 skeins. I mean, it's going to be mainly green. So I bought this. Oh, that's blowing out, that's better. This is Trotty Pouty by Sunshine at My Mama Knits. And it's your classic sock. It's a chifunga. No, not Trotty Pouty, Trotty. And it's 425 metres because it's 75-25 superwash merino and nylon. And it's lovely. Very pretty. I love that green. Isn't it gorgeous? See all these colours. I think that'd be lovely as a jumper. How many jumpers can I knit? And then, of course, I felt I didn't want to spend all that postage when I could get another one, sneak another skein in for the same postage. So I bought this one for me. And this is, or somebody else, it might go, you know, and this is called Sagebrush. It's not bad. It's more green than blue. But really, really pretty. And again, you know, Sunshine does some lovely stuff. And I've actually got a mix to do a nice fade jumper in some of her yarns, colourways. I need to get around to doing that at some point, don't I? One pair of hands, not 2 pair of hands. One pair of hands, you know, only so many hours in the day that I can knit. There we go. Anyway, let's talk about mending. I made a boxy in December 2018, so it's only just over 2 years old. And I made it from various blue-faced Leicester yarn, 4-ply. And it was my first boxy. I've done another one since in completely different yarn. And it was the classic, I did it flat up to there, well, you know. And it's lovely. I wear it as one of my house jumpers. Now, by that I mean I'm not going anywhere. I've got a couple of jumpers that I just wear until I spill too much down them, or they look like they need a wash or they need a refresh. So yeah, but which is great because it means I don't have to think about what to put on, you know, in the morning, and it means I get to wear something really nice every day. But even though Blue Face Leicester is relatively anti-pill compared to something like merino, it has pilled. It's pill's got fuzzy because I wear it such a lot, and the elbows, because the arms on the chair, although the back and the seat are padded, the arms are quite firm. They're padded if you squash them, but not really as much as would make it. It's not like an armchair, you know. So I've put a hole in both arms, and I've darned. You'll see on the photograph. The first 2 photographs are the holes, and you can see a great big darn on one of them. and you can see where it's split on the seam where I've sewed it up. I've sewed the sleeve onto the seam, and it's more or less like at the back of the arm. And don't worry that my darling is a load of rubbish. I've gone for function over form, and I'd had a practice, and it's holding, which is the main thing. You know, I don't go out in it, so nobody else is going to see it. And then on the other arm, there's a tiny little slit, and if you can see, I've done a similar repair to what I did the other day, just further down from the hole. So the first couple of photographs show the hole, and the second set of photographs show the finished item. And like I say, I've gone for function rather than looks. And although the one with the big darn in the middle looked quite puckered, that was partly the light coming to the window at the time of day. And I've just basically gone round it, because once I start looking, I can see other threads that are about to go. So with my wool that I had on my needle, I just went and tried and pick up everything I could see that looked like it was going to be delicate, or I'll be back there again in a few weeks' time. A tatty jumper? Should I just use it as an excuse to throw it away and just make another one? But I'm loath to do that. But it's still got some, it's got life in it. So I'll carry on. I mean, the other alternative is I cut the sleeves off and I do some more sleeves. I don't really want to do that. I think, I've got to recognise perhaps that even, everything's got a finite life, even my jumpers. So yeah, I mean, I've got an excuse that I need the room in the wardrobe to chuck it out, to make room for new knits, because we are very limited on space here. But I'm a bit reluctant to throw it away. Why? Nobody else sees it, and I'm perfectly happy with it, if I'm honest. I might have a go at defuzzing it and see if it falls apart. And show it you next time. Maybe I'll take some photographs of the whole thing. I think it's on my Ravelry anyway, so yeah. So we'll see. And that's it really for knitting. I just want to say thank you again to everybody who's watched me, and I'm just going to mention what I've been reading really, because I've set out to read 50 books, which I did easily last year, and I'm currently working my way through the Faith Martin, Hilary Green books. I prefer crime, if I'm honest. I don't often read anything other than crime. So yeah, I think the Faith Martin ones are a bit like a step above cosy crime, which is fine. But I also really like the deep psychological thrillers. So if you've got any recommendations for stuff like that, I love Jack Curley's books, which are set in America, in the south of the USA. They are really disturbing. I read them sometimes and they're in my head for days or weeks afterwards. But the one I'm going to read next is a Stephen Booth, Drowned Lives. Now I've read all but one of Stephen's Cooper and Fry series that are set in Derbyshire. This looks like it might be set on a canal, or at least it involves a canal boat. Sounds interesting. I will give this a read and I'll let you know what I think of it. Probably put a review on Instagram. I have bought, this did have, the Works in the UK, and they do 3 for a £5. So I buy, well, when you're allowed to, go in there, because we've got a nice one, couple near to me. Go in there and I pick up books, preferably, they do a lot of crime, and you get a lot of decent, you can be introduced to new authors that way. And so I don't mind spending 3 for a £5. And I also read on my Kindle. But sometimes you can't beat a book, can you? It's nice to have a paper book to sit and read. So that's my next read. So, have I covered everything? I'm yattering away as I do. Let me have a look. Yeah, so, I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. As always, if you've got any questions for me related to anything I've talked about today, please let me know. Put them in the comments, or you can contact me on Instagram privately if you want to. I will hoping to get an email address. I meant to do it yesterday to see if I can get sparknits@gmail.com. I'll have a go at that in a minute. And then, as I say earlier, I'll put everything down in the down bar. I hope that I haven't spoken too fast, and that the position I'm sitting in is slightly improved. As I say, I'm going to struggle to get any further away from the camera. But, you know, an update on the birds. I'm sure you'll be very interested to know this. As I said last time, I sit here and I can see the birds on the feeder. Now, hubby made me a bird box the other day. I found a couple on eBay that I thought were reasonable priced. And he said, no, I've got all this wood lying around, I'll make you one. So he made me a nice bird box. And that was put up on Thursday. He put the bird box up on Thursday. And yesterday, we had blue tits in it. Now, it looked like the blue tit couldn't get out because he kept poking his head out. And then we remembered that, I don't know why I'm pointing at my chest. You'll see why I'm pointing at my chest. The hole had some splinters on it where he drilled it out. And it had a splinter going inwards. And they said, you know, don't make it too smooth because they like a bit of grip. But he said, oh, perhaps it's sticking in him every time he tries to get up. He got in okay. Every time he tries to get in, perhaps it's impaling him, say, this bit of splinter. Because these birds are tiny and they weigh, you know, I don't know, less than 10 grams or something daft that you can't imagine. They are literally all feather. So he went and shoved the lid of the box up and waited. And then eventually the bird flew away. And then we thought, oh no. And he made all he did was sanded the inside of the hole so that it's a lot smoother. And there aren't any splinters sticking out. And this morning we had a pair of cold tits go and visit it. So it will be a family, it will be a home for somebody, I think, because although it's only early February, they are looking, especially on a nice day, although it is cold today, they're looking for nest sites. But they don't have eggs until they're hatched towards the end of May. So yeah, let's hope it's not too soon. And we're going to have a very cold snap next week, so that might put pay to any house hunting on Right Move for the birds. We'll see. And he's just been in the garden. I reckon he's trying to make another one. I'd like a robin one as well. I am lucky that, you know, he makes things for me. He's an engineer, so keep his hand in that sort of thing. Okay, I'm going to go because, you know, I could just sit here and talk and talk and talk, and you'll be going, oh, is she going to finish? Bye, you lovely people. I will speak to you in about a fortnight. Get in touch if you want to. Thanks for all the love and positivity you've shown me. I hope I've made sense to all of this, and I will see you quite soon. Okay, till a bit.